Good day, everyone. I made this video discussion because we were not able to have our face-to-face discussion in continuation with our topic about matrices and operation. As far as I remember, the last topic na na-discuss ko sa inyo is actually the introductory part ng inverse of a matrix. Pero we will start muna with determinant kasi yung determinant na concept will be applying it to solve for the inverse, yung dalawang method, adjoint and row operation method. Okay, so without much ado, let's start with determinant. Okay, determinant. A determinant of a matrix. Okay, so say for example, we have here a matrix A, no. So yung matrix talaga class, yung representation niya, we have these elements, tama ba, or entries, no. So this is the first row and this is first row and first column, that is the entry 1 A11, first row second column, this is A12, and so on and so forth. Actually yung matrix will be symbolized by this bracket, yan, naka-bracket, no. Now uh, associated with A is a number called the determinant of A and is denoted by det A. So pag sinabi nating det A, that refers to the determinant of matrix A. Symbolically, so from A na naka-bracket, we will converting the bracket into vertical bars. Ito na yun. So that would symbolize that we are trying to evaluate ng determinant, we will trying to evaluate the determinant of the matrix A. Now there are various methods on how you can solve for determinants, but for this video discussion, we'll discussing muna the basics one. Okay, una, if we are dealing with 2 by 2 matrix. Kapag we are dealing with 2 by 2 matrix, so for example, we have A11 as our first entry, A12, A21, and A22. So that is the entries, of our matrix A. Now, if we will be evaluating the determinant of a 2 by 2 matrix, you just simply need to multiply the diagonals. Okay, for this one, this is the first diagonal, multiply it, and then you subtract it from the product of this diagonal. Kaya a sub 1, 1 times a sub 2, 2, okay, minus ito, a sub 2, 1 times a sub 1, 2. Okay? Ito 1, 2 yung class, mali ito. A sub 2, 1 times a sub 1, 2. Or pwede po a sub 1, 2 and a sub 2, 1. So, mali yun ha. Okay, let me just correct it. A sub 1, 1, a sub 2, 2 minus a sub 1, 2 times a sub 2, 1. Okay, ito yan ha. Now, that is for the 2 by 2 matrix. How about if we are dealing with 3 by 3 matrix? So, same thing pa rin yung ma-apply natin, no? So, as you can see, ito, ma-multiply natin. And ito, gawin natin class, we will be using the basket method. Kapag 3 by 3 matrix na yung kasali, is that yung first two columns, ibabalik natin yan sa labas. Okay, this is the matrix na naka-bracket. So, kung kukunin natin yung determinant, that will be changed to vertical bars. Mangyari niyan, determinant of A, okay, ito na lang. And then, yung first two columns, ibabalik mo yan dito. A sub 1, 1, A sub 2, 1, A sub 3, 1, then A sub 1, 2, A sub 2, 2, A sub 3, 2. Yan, no? And then, you get the diagonals. Ito, first diagonal, you add it with the product of this diagonal, and you add it with the product of this diagonal. Okay, kaya, A sub 1, 1, times A sub 2, 2, times A sub 3, 3. You add it with A sub 1, 2, A sub 2, 3, and A sub 3, 1. Ito. Then, add pa rin ito, A sub 1, 3, A sub 2, 1, and A sub 3, 2. Okay? And then, you will be subtracting that naman sa mga diagonal or product ng diagonals. Ito, tsaka ito. Okay? In other words, that is minus, ito, minus, i-add naman nyo yung product ng each diagonals na ito. But, again, you need to subtract all of these, or all of the sum sa mismong first sum ng first diagonal. So, ito, a sub 3, 1, a sub 2, 2, a sub 1, 3, plus a sub 3, 2, a sub 2, 3, a sub 1, 1, plus a sub 3, 3, a sub 2, 1 times a sub 1, 2. Again, you subtract all of them dito sa first na diagonals na pa ganito. Okay? So, that is basically how you you operate the determinant of a 2 by 2 matrix using basket method. Okay, basket method tawag nito. Okay, basket method. Parang nagagawa ka lang o nag-weave lang tayo ng basket ba? Kaya tayo tawag siyang basket method. Okay, now let's try these examples. So, una, find the determinant of the following matrix. So, ito. So, determinants of this one, magyayari ng determinant of A will be converting it to vertical bars. So, magiging negative 1, 3, 8, negative 2. In other word, that is negative 1 times negative 2. Okay, minus, ito naman, 8 times 3. Okay, and that is equivalent to, sige, negative 1 times negative 2 minus 8 times 3. And that is equal to negative 22. Negative 22. Okay, that is our determinant of A. Det A. Now, for this second problem, okay, gawin natin, okay, det A will be equal to vertical bars, again, 7, negative 2, 2, 3, negative 1 half, negative 2, and then 5, 5, 4, and then balik natin yung first two columns. Yan, negative 2, negative 1 half, then 5. Okay, so yan na yun, no? And then, let's do this one. Multiply natin yan. Ito naman. Tsaka ito. Okay? Then, you add that all, no? So, that is basically equal to, okay? Mangyari nito, that is equivalent to, okay, negative, 7. So, ito na lang, ha? Diretso natin calculate. 7 times negative 1 half, or 0.5, times 4. Okay, times 4, ha? And that is equals to negative 14. So, ito, negative 14. Sorry, negative 14. Okay, plus, ito naman, negative 2. Sorry, negative 2. Ito. Times negative 2. And times 5. Okay, times 5. And that is equal to positive 20. Okay, plus. Okay, ito naman, 2 plus 3. 2 times 3. Okay, 2 times 3 times 5. And that is equals to 30. Ito yung 30. Okay, minus, ito naman, yung mga kabilang diagonals. Ito, tsaka ito. Okay? So, that is equal to, unahin natin yung nasa baba, 5 times negative 1 half. Okay, ito na lang. Okay, negative 0.5 times, okay, 1 half times 2, no? Times 2. That is negative 5. Okay, ito negative 5. Sorry. And then, ito naman, 5 times negative 2 times 7. 5 times negative 2 times 7. And that is equals to negative 70. Negative 70. Plus, okay, plus 4 times 3 times 2. 4 times 3 times negative 2. And that is negative 24. Ito, magiging negative yan. Negative 24. Okay, in other words, if we will be evaluating this using our calculator, that is negative 14 plus 20 plus, okay, plus 30, then minus negative 5 plus, minus 70 minus 24, and that is equal to 135. So ito 135. Therefore, okay, determinant of A would be equal to 135. Okay? So, actually, class, meron tayong Caltech for this one. Caltech is just used for checking, ha. Pero for your problems or your exam, I need this for the solution, ha. Pero you may check it using this Caltech, no. So una, punta kayo dito sa matrix, and then matrix A, and then since 2 by 2 tayo dito, so hanap niyo yung 2 by 2. Ito 2 by 2. That is 5, no. So ilagay niyo lang yung mga entries, negative 1, 3, 8, tsaka negative 2. Okay, then if done na, okay, press easy. Then punta kayo, shift matrix, ito 4. Then hanapin niyo lang yung det na word, det 7. Then shift matrix ulit, then matrix A. Okay, and that is equivalent to negative 22, which is correct, no? Actually, kung gamit nyo is Casio, wag na yung shift tas matrix, ups na diretso yan, ups. And nandito yan, oh, ups. Now, for this one naman, punta tayo ulit sa, matrix, In this time, data na tayo, data. Or pwede lang din kayo bumalik dito sa eto, 6 pa rin. Matrix A naman ulit. Then, this time, 3 by 3 na. Okay, hanapin nyo yung 3 by 3, 1. That is 7, negative 2, 2, 3, negative 1 half or 0.5, then negative 2, then 5, then 5, then 4. Okay. Okay, yun. Press AC, shift matrix, then hanapin nyo yung determinant, 7, shift matrix, then matrix A. And then that is equal to 135, which is correct, no? 135. Okay, yan yun, no? That is how you evaluate the determinant of a matrix ng 2 by 2 at 3 by 3. Okay, now, we will be discussing cofactor of an element. Ang cofactor of a matrix element, denoted by, uh, actually, si IG na yan. Itong, this is the element pala, sorry. This is the element, IJ. Okay, meaning I, the row, and the J is the number of column. Okay, kapag kukunin natin yung cofactor ng matrix of this element, IJ, Aij, that is equal or symbolized by C. Okay, meaning to say this is cofactor of the, so for example, kukunin natin yung cofactor ng element A12. So, therefore, we are evaluating the cofactor ng element 12. Okay, nakuha nyo? So, whatever the value you have here, ij, yan yung magiging nito. Okay, negative 1. Example, 1 yung I, plus 2 yung j. Okay, so that is negative 1 kasi add yung na-raise eh. Tama ba? Then, yung mig is, kinatawag natin yan na minor. Okay, minor ng element 1, 2. Kaya 1, 2 din dito. Now, ang minor is actually the determinant lang of an element ng ij. Okay, later, ma-illustrate natin yan, no? So, basically, you just need to memorize this formula. Okay? Now, again, take note, Mij is the minor determinant of an element Aij. Okay? Sige. Let's try this example. Find the cofactor of elements A11 and A12. Unahin natin muna si A11. And then next would be A12 of this determinant na matrix na given. So, di ba, kapag kukunin natin yung cofactor ng A11, that is equal to C11. And that is negative 1, 1 plus 1, and then minor ng 1, 1. Kuha ninyo? Okay, now kukunin natin yung minor ng 1, 1. Yung minor ng 1, 1, ang gagawin natin, since we are to get the cofactor ng element A11, itong ipo-point out natin yung A11. Ano ba yung A11 na element? Ito yan. Row 1, column 1. Kapag ito na yan, crush mo to, yung natitirang matrix will be your matrix na kukunan mo ng determinant. Okay? So that is, this is a 2 by 2 matrix lang, di ba? So that is 7 times 3, that is 21, minus 2 times 8, which is 16. So this one is equal to 5. Tama ba? So therefore, yung cofactor pala ng A11, which is C11 denoted, is negative 1 raised to the power of 2 times yung 5, which is equivalent to positive 5. Kasi negative 1 squared, that is positive. So therefore, your cofactor for element A11 is equivalent to 5. How about naman, okay? How about naman for A12? So A12 is the element A12 has a cofactor of C12. That is negative 1, 1 plus 2. Okay, then kukunin natin yung minor ng 1, 2. Okay, saan naman yung 1, 2? Row 1, column 2. Row 1, column 2. Ito yun. Then, to cash out yung intersection niya. Ito na yan. So, may matitira na M12 would be equal to what? Negative 2, 8, 0, tsaka 3. Okay, as you can see, this is equivalent lang. Negative 2 times 3, that is negative 6. 0 times 8, that is 0. Sorry, that is 0. Kaya, negative 6 lang. Therefore, your cofactor of element A12 is C12 equivalent to negative 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Then negative 6, which is equivalent to, since negative 3 raised to the power of odd number, negative 1 raised to the power of odd number is always negative. Kaya negative times negative would be equal to positive. Okay? So, sorry, tama ba? Negative, yes, tama. Positive 6. Okay? Nakuha nyo ba? So, I hope nakuha nyo. Now, let's proceed to another example. Okay? Another example. So, we have here, find the cofactor of the elements A23. So, cofactor A23, that is negative 1, 2 plus 3, and then minor 2, 3. So, 2, 3. This time, 2, 3. So, that is row 2, okay, row 2, ito yung row 2, no? Column 3, ito yun. Row 2, column 3. So, yung intersection niya, cancel nyo yan. So, ano yung resulting matrix na mabubuo natin? 3 by 3 matrix. So, kukunin natin yung determinant ng 3 by 3 matrix. So, that is 3, 4, negative 2, negative 1, 6, 2, 2, negative 11, 12. Okay, again, kapag may 3 by 3, balik natin yung first two columns. So, that is 3, negative 1, 2, 4, 6, negative 11. And then, okay, proceed na tayo sa basket method. Ito, multiply mo yan. Ito din, tsaka ito. Okay, that is equivalent to, sige, kunin natin yung calculator ha. So, that is, or pwede lang din, diretso na caltech. Pero, for the sake of discussion, sige lang. 3 times 6 times 12, that is 216. This one is 216. Okay, plus, ito naman, 2 times, 4 times 2, 4 times 2 times 2, which is equivalent to 16. Okay, 16. Plus, ito, negative 2 times negative 1 times negative 11. Negative 11 ba yan? Yes, tama. Negative 2, sorry. Negative 2 times negative 1 times negative 11, and that is equivalent to negative 22. So, ito, magiging negative 22 lang yan. Minus, ito naman, ito, tsaka ito. Okay? So, that is 2 times 6 times negative 2, negative 24. Okay? And then, negative 11 times 2 times 3, which is equivalent to negative 66. Negative 66. Check natin kung negative ba yan. So, negative 12 times negative 1 times 4, and that is negative 48. Okay? So, in other words, your determinant would be equal to what? 216 plus 16 minus 22. Yung negative, ma-distribute yan, magiging positive na yan lahat. Positive 24, positive 66, positive 48. And that is equals to 384. 348 pala. 348. So, check natin, no? Using our caltech na lang diretso. So, punta tayo sa matrix. Matrix A, that is 3 by 3. So, kunin natin yung matrix that is 3, 4, negative 2, and then negative 1, 6, and then we have 2, then 2, negative 11, then 12. Okay? Then press AC, tapos shift matrix, punta tayo sa determinant, then shift matrix ulit, then matrix of A. Okay, and that is equivalent to 348 indeed. Okay, so we have our minor 348. Therefore, your C23 would be equal to what? Negative 1 raised to the power of 5, which is odd. So that would become a negative value of 348. So in other words, that is negative 348. Basically, ang cofactor lang guys is just a sign of a minor. Sign of a minor. Cofactor is a sign of a minor. Meaning to say, may sign lang, either positive or negative of the minor. Okay? Depending on kung saan mo yan, kung anong kukunin mo na cofactor of what element. Okay? To be specific. Okay? For, that is just only for A23, no? How about for A42? A42, that is A42, no? C42, and that is negative 1, 4 plus 2, then minor ng 42. Saan ba ito yung 42? Okay, row 4, ito yung row 4, then column 2. Ito yun. So, cash out this one. So, matitira ito yung 3 by 3 matrix. So, siguro, caltech na lang natin, no? Anyway, I've given you already how to manually solve this one. Again, for your examination, you need to solve this manually. You may use this caltech just for checking. So, check natin ha. 3, negative 1, negative 2, 5, 0, 3, negative 1, 9, 2. So, punta tayo sa ulit, matrix 6, matrix A, and then 3 by 3. So, as you can see, meron yung mga initial data na yung previous problem. So, maglagay lang tayo ng bago. Okay? So, that is 5, 0, 3, then negative 1, then 9, then we have 2. Okay? Then you press AC, shift, matrix, ulit, determinant, then shift, matrix of determinant of matrix A. Okay? And that is 158. Negative. Negative 158. Okay? Therefore, your C42 pala, cofactor of element A42, that is negative 1. Then we have here 6, even siya, so that is positive, times negative 158. So therefore, that is negative 158 lang. Okay? So, I hope nakuha niyo no, yung cofactor at saka yung minor of a matrix. Now, this is the sign factor pattern. Usually, makikita nyo if, say, for example, you will evaluate the element, the cofactor of this one, A11, then A12, then A13, and so on and so forth. Makikita nyo may pattern yan. So, ito magiging positive, negative, positive, alternating. Then, dito naman ulit, uh, ito na yun, negative. So, ito, alternating yan, positive, negative, positive, negative. Ito, positive, negative, positive, negative. And dito, alternating positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Then, positive, negative, positive. Okay? Mabubuo mo itong sign factor pattern. Okay? Ng mga cofactor of each element in the determinant. Okay? Yun na. Okay, bakit natin uh, dinedefine yung cofactor or in-evaluate yung cofactor? Because we'll be using this one in solving for inverse later. Particularly if we are dealing with a joint. A joint, kukunin natin yung mga cofactor nila each element. Okay, yun. Okay. Sige, cofactor expansion of a determinant. Ito, more of ano na. How about if you have the cofactor na and then you want to determine the determinant of your matrix. So the determinant of an n by n matrix can be evaluated by expanding determinant A by cofactors along any row or along any column. For each one, I is equals to greater than or equal to 1 or that is less than or equal to n, the cofactor expansion of determinant A along with ith row is given to be this one. For H naman, for J naman, so that is the cofactor expansion. This is for the column ha, this is for the row. Okay, will be this one. So, ano lang. Later, we will be applying this cofactor expansion of a determinant. Okay, dito muna tayo sa properties of determinants. Ito guys, cofactor expansion of determinant. Meron tayong sample nito if magdi-discuss na tayo about inverse of a matrix. But for now, we'll just leave it here. Pero ito, no, actually, hindi na masyadong need pa i-memorize ito. Kasi yung determinant of A can be solved naman using those previous example that I have given you. Ito, ano lang, expansion lang, using cofactor in determining or evaluating the determinant of a matrix. Okay? Sige, pero we will be using this concept later. Now, let's discuss muna yung properties ng determinants. Okay? Una is the determinant of a transpose. Say for example, we have a transpose matrix of A. Okay, that is the transpose of an n by n matrix of A. As you can see, dapat square matrix siya. Okay? Meaning to say, same yung number of rows ang number of columns. Then yung determinant ng A daw is equal to the determinant of your matrix transpose. For example, meron ka itong matrix A, no? Tapos kung kukunin natin yung transpose niya, okay, yung column, ay yung row pala, magiging column siya. Okay, yung row magiging column. So kung i-evaluate mo yung each individual determinants ito, that is just equal. Because that is according to the determinant of a transpose. Kapag yung matrix A mo, kukunin mo yung transpose niya, yung matrix A at saka yung transpose niya will have the same determinant. Kasi, actually, same lang din yung entries ng mga entries ng elements. Or mean to say, same lang yung elements. Transpose mo lang. Okay? For second property, this is second property, if any two rows or columns of an n by n matrix are the same, then determinant of that matrix is 0. So for example, meron tayong 2, 4, 7, 603, 603. Nabalik yung 603, 603. So same yung row 2 and row 3. Kapag ganyan daw, automatic 0. How about if this one? This time, same yung row, column 1 and column 2 and column 4. As you can see, tama ba? Same yan. Very exact yung elements niya. So, pag ganyan daw, automatic yung determinant of that matrix will be equal to 0. So, that is according to this two identical rows or two identical columns. Actually, columns or rows niya siya. Okay? If any two rows or columns of an n by n matrix are the same, then the determinant of that matrix is 0. Third property will be the zero row or column. Kapag naman ang isang row or column has a 0 entries, then the determinant of that matrix is 0. So for example, ito. 207, 603, 601. So, this second column has elements 0 lahat. So, automatic 0 yung determinant niyan. Ito naman, itong fourth row has 0 elements. So, automatic yung determinant nito is 0. Okay? So, meron mga problem na given with multiple or m by n matrix, no? Marami, di lang 3 by 3 or 4 by 4, even 5 by 5. Pero, kapag you are very observant and then you remember these properties, there are problems na automatic 0 yung determinant niya. Okay? So, the fourth property naman, interchanging row or columns. Kapag say for example, we have a determinant A, eto, no? And then, we have a determinant B, wherein yung determinant B, in-interchange lang natin yung column 3 niya, or column 1 and 2, or column 1 and 3 pala ng determinant A, na interchange lang. Okay? Kapag daw ganyan, yung determinant will have a change sign lang po. So, example, determinant A, nakuha mo negative 30. For determinant B, makukuha mo is positive ng 30. Given that, merong na-change na row or column from the previous determinant. Okay? So, yan yung interchanging rows or columns. Now, for the fifth property, constant multiple of a row or column. For example, we have a determinant A dito. So, unahin natin yung row. So, for example, column pala. Row or column siya. Okay, for this example, column to. So, for example, unahin natin to, determinant A. And then, we have determinant B. Yung 5 and 20 has factors, no? So, you can factor 5. So, that is 1 over 4. 1/4 dito na lang. And then, ito namang second column. Ito may factor din to. 8 pala. 8, sorry, 8. So, labas yung 8, magiging 1 over 2. Tama ba? So, this is equal to what? That is equals to 40. Now, itong column row naman particularly has a what? Has a factor din. That is a factor of 2. So, labas natin yung 2. So, mangyayari niyan 2, 1. So, kaya itong 4 times 2, that is equal to 80. At saka yung determinant ito, 1 times 1, that is 1, minus 1 times 2, which is 2, that is negative 1. So, kaya magiging negative 80 lang yan ulit. Now, that is the same thing as this one, determinant of A, which is 80 lang. Kasi, if B is the matrix obtained from n by n matrix A by multiplying a row or column by a zero real number K, then the determinant of B is equivalent lang sa determinant ng matrix A times the scalar multiple or constant multiple K. Okay, yan yung properties ng determinant. And for the last property, meron pa pala, marami pa pala ito. For this next property, if A and B are both n by n matrix, then determinant of the product of A and B is equal to the determinant of the product of each determinants. Okay, actually nabalik na to kanina, which is ano lang, yung column yung row pala na interchange lang, no? Pero you can use this property din if you wish to get the determinant ng product ng matrix A and B. You can just what? You take the product of A matrix A and B and you get the determinant that is equal lang sa if you get the determinant of A, multiply it with the determinant of B. Yan yung ibig sabihin ng determinant of a matrix product. Now, for the next, this is seventh property. Suppose A is an n by n triangular matrix, upper or lower, then the determinant of A would be equal to sa diagonal lang. Say for example, eto class, this is at upper triangular kasi all entries lang nandun lang sa this is upper, this is by the way lower triangular if I'm not mistaken kasi yung 0, 0 pala yun. Yung 0, 0 na mga elements is nasa baba. So this is a lower triangular matrix. Kapag ganito daw, either yung 0, 0 natin na triangular nasa baba or nasa itaas, ito. Yung magiging determinant lang is you just need to multiply the main diagonal. Ito yun. Tsaka you just need to multiply the main diagonal. Ito yan. So, in other words, determinant of this matrix is 2 times 1 times 9 plus 1, 18. Ito naman, 3 times 0 times 4, that is equal to 0 lang. Okay? So, I hope nakuha nyo, no? Properties ng determinants. Okay? In the next video, we will be discussing inverse of a matrix na. Okay? You keep safe, everyone, and thank you for listening.